Well, during the Corona times when everybody was sort of locked down in different countries, and after a little while, I think we just started to make music separately on our own, and I was kind of just looking for a way to get everybody excited about doing a project. And I guess the best collaboration that we'd had over the last few years was this MTV Unplugged, where we were doing like different versions of our old songs and in a live setting. So I sort of started from this idea that instead of spending months and months in a studio and not being able to be in the same place, not being able to what can we do? Can we do a concert in Norway, and can we film it, and what should it be? And I had just seen a live film called Western Stars by Bruce Springsteen, and I thought it would be interesting to do something from our home, from Norway, set in the nature of the northern part of the country, which is very dramatic. So it was kind of one side, quite practical approach to say, okay, you're making some songs in LA, I'm making some songs in Norway. Instead of this long process of making an album and ending up hitting each other over the head, why don't we just meet and rehearse the songs for a live performance and film this? And of course, with Corona, a live performance was difficult. So we decided to do it as a filmed performance, so that the audience could see it. So it was us and the film crew and the Arctic Philharmonic Orchestra, which is native to the north of Norway. So it was kind of an idea just to let's make a film with new music, and then it turned into also an album, without the pain of months and months or years of working in the studio. So that was quite sort of simply the idea. And I also, for myself, wanted to connect this project to my interests and engagements in projects that are related to the ocean. As a visual artist and a curator, I'm also working with a project that focuses on oceanographic research and artists' involvement in that. So for me, it was just a natural thing to focus on the nature of Norway, both as a tribute to the kind of dramatic, wild nature and the ocean that has been such a big part of us growing up and shaped who we are as artists in many ways. You can see it across Scandinavian culture in general, the importance of nature in films, in art, in books and music. So that felt like a natural fit, and then we just went up and spent 10 days shooting a film and recording music, and the result is True North. So I mean, it's an album with a mixture of influences and mixtures of I guess inspiration. But for me, the main inspiration was ocean, nature, climate change. We're in the middle of this kind of incredibly dangerous time for the world in so many respects, and let's make a kind of a musical letter from the high north, and then that's what we did. Well, there's a variety of stages that you go through. I mean, as we were, continents apart, even during the lead up to this recording, a lot of it was done in home studios. You made demos, you try them out, you see what works, and then we got string arrangers involved. It was pretty clear from the start we wanted to do it with an orchestra. So in a way, there was a hectic period over the 10 days of getting good takes in the space with the orchestra and with the people on stage. But there's a before, during, and after process of trying to make it all gel together. So you know, it's not completely live in that sense. I mean, it has a pre and a post project, but it was pretty hectic those 10 days. I mean, there was about 100 people running around with different jobs, and you're trying to concentrate on playing and filming at the same time. So it was, and we were doing it inside a swimming pool. So the arena is actually, we're actually underwater, you know, metaphorically underwater, which I thought was kind of beautiful, because you never know how high the ocean's going to go in the future. So I thought, okay, we're saying something about our concern for the climate and nature, and we're actually at the bottom of a swimming pool recording this film. So it's not really clear from the visuals, but that's what it was. So it felt kind of apt. Somehow I think, at least I expected the last album from 2015 to be the last album. But then, as with Aha, you can sort of make plans and say, that's probably it for now. And then suddenly you're right in the middle of doing something new, much to your own surprise. So, I mean, in the meantime, various things for various people. I mean, my life pulsates between making songs and music and my practice as a visual artist. And I probably spent more time in those years on my visual practice. But for me, it's always, if I only get to do one of those things, I always miss the other one. So it's a bit of kind of crop rotation, you know, like a farmer planting, you know, potatoes one year and rye or barley the next, just to keep the soil fertile. And yeah, I mean, I sort of, even within the space of a week, and it can be like 3 days in my painting studio and then 2 days in my recording studio, and it's been like that for the last 20 years for me. I can't really say I know very much how those years were for the others, but for me it was. And strangely, when the pandemic hit, we were on a world tour, and instead of going to Japan, we had to revert back to Oslo during the first lockdown everywhere. And for me, I have to say that, you know, it actually gave me 2 extra years of producing art and music, and it just sort of came by itself. And I wasn't even sure if it was going to be a solo record, if it was going to be for Aha, but I was kind of writing my songs with Morten's voice in mind. So there was a sort of underlying feeling that it'd be nice to hear him sing these. And but I think even up to the point of actually starting to film it, you know, it could have gone wrong at any time, and I was ready to just go off and do it as a solo project, my part of it. But no, I'm happy with the album. I think there's 12 strong songs on there. It's who we are today, and it just adds more music, hopefully with quality to our legacy. I mean, we're not desperate to you know, compete in the charts anymore. We've had our moments in the sun, and we just do it for the love of music, you know, and find ways of doing it that works for us, even if it means sitting in 3 different spaces and just working towards a sort of a shared product. Well, I think when you start writing songs, there is no pressure, because you have no real knowledge of where it's going to go. But then, of course, when you decide to make an album for a release with Aha, then the pressure starts building up. But I think we all resist the pressure in any way we can, and we just you know, we still love making music, even if we do it in different ways now than we did when we lived together in London all those years ago. There's still that, you know, AHA is our common fate, and we kind of celebrate it, but just in different and more individual ways. But that's kind of the mothership that you come back to somehow, and you just got to find ways that work. There's no point thinking you're 25 at this point. You're closing in on 60. You know, that you just got to do it any way you can, and as long as the music's good, and I think everybody's you know, happy to have contributed in their own way on this record, then that's fine. That's a kind of a document of AHA in 2022. I mean, we kind of stopped in 2010, so I didn't even think there would be a 2015 album. And but it, you know, AHA, you can run as fast as you want in any direction. It always catches up with you somehow, you know.